Danny, good afternoon. You're very welcome to the programme.
Hi, Mary. Thank you. Thank you.
Danny, you were all style at the weekend. I saw pictures online of you. You were at the Love Kerry lunch and fashion event, which took place in the Ballygarry estate at the weekend, and a very worthy cause to all the funds there going to the palliative care unit at University Hospital Kerry.
Oh, it was amazing. And as you say, I suppose the reason why it was so important was because it was a fundraiser for the palliative care. And sometimes we don't realize what they do till you actually might be in the position of having to use their service. Sometimes they say heroes with capes, they're definitely the heroes without capes. It's just amazing. It was organized by Claire Murphy. It was electric, the atmosphere. There was so much love. It was so much warmth around. There was so much fashion. There was both on and off the catwalk, as they say. There was some amazing style and creations there. And I suppose it got me thinking that Kerry has a lot of hidden talents that people don't realize, where we'd be going on about sustainability and stuff like that, but there's some wonderful products where there are no air miles included, but the products are made with love and pride.
Yeah, I mean, Kerry is such a creative county. We have fabulous people here, and obviously some of the really well known ones. Obviously, there was Don O'Neill there at the weekend, and Colin Horgan from Ardfert, international fashion designer. Would you talk to us maybe then about some of the people whose work featured in the event?
Yeah, actually, I'm lucky. I've a couple of pieces that were featured on the show with me here today. And the first one, like you said, I didn't have any Don O'Neill pieces, but I have Colin Horgan. His workshop is in the heart of Ardfert, and this is one of the pieces. Good job. First of all, when I had seen Colin, I got an invitation to view his collection for London Fashion Week. I actually thought this was a leather piece. It's not, it's a denim piece. It's the way that the fabric is worked that looked like leather, but it's not. It's actually nicer. There's a lovely texture to it. I'm just trying to move back there, trying to give you the best view of the garment. There we are. We're in view there.
Oh, wow.
But it's like this short kind of a coat. There was a lovely dress to go over it. I don't have the dress, but you can see the quality and the detailing, the zip, even the collar here. It's pity you couldn't have touchability over the radio because it is a lovely, but it's all these extra details you're getting.
Zips, yeah.
And it was from his new collection. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing. And this piece is very wearable. Sometimes when you're in a catwalk situation, you're exaggerating some of the looks, but each and every one of these, wearing them separate, is a winner. And like this is actually made and designed here in Kerry. He has a lovely workshop where you can see all the machines going. Do you know, I suppose we've lost so much of our heritage when it would be harness makers, and you know, we had shoemakers at one stage in Killarney, and even the knitwear here in Tralee. It's lovely to see talent like Colin's, and where he's even dressed international stars like Lady Gaga, for instance. And Kerry is just a small bit of land when it comes to the world, but God, do we punch above our size. But the detailing, you can see it's exquisite.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful, and I could just say there's the zips. There's so many kind of the different seams. There's the kind of like the extra material there on the shoulders and the detailing in the collar. But just talk to us about the material there. You're saying it looks like leather there. Obviously, yeah, we can't touch it there, but you're saying that it has the look and the feel of leather, but it's actually denim.
It's a denim, yeah. It's just that lovely touch feel. But also there's almost like a waxing on it to give it that lovely shine off it to make it look like it. It's still a very good, denim is durable anyway. just like leather would be or all these, but this is something that will last. It's a one-off piece. It'll be something, even the stitching, the way they make a detail out of that, it is just amazing. And again, what I love when you're talking about quality, you see the metal zips in there. There is no plastic. You're getting the best of the best when it comes to it. And of course, things like that would be bought in or whatever, but it is just amazing. And it fits lovely over the body as well, no matter what the body shape is. And Colin designs for different body shapes as well, which is very important when it comes down to it. Extremely important. And yeah.
No, I was going to say, Colin obviously was just one of the many local artists, I suppose you'd want to call them, who are making some fabulous clothes and millinery here in Kerry. And this fabulous piece.
I have one
Who
here.
is this by?
Isn't it gorgeous?
It's amazing.
This is by Rebecca Wall.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't it just gorgeous?
It's fabulous.
And it's one of these pieces you're buying. Our prices start from 150 upwards. This one would be €400, but it would be a bridal if you wanted to make a bridal a bit alternative. But like this, I'm going to put it on. Jesus. But look at this. This is like a halo way. But if you wanted to go, look at that. Can you imagine a bride?
For people listening to us now on the radio who aren't looking at the Zoom at the moment, the Zoom video, just describe this piece to us.
It is like an oversized, what I'd call hairband, lovely and soft. But think of a treasure trove of diamonds, of pearls, and it's made up of all that hairband. There's sparkles coming off of it. It is a real magpie would be attracted to it. It is almost like a 1920s design where you have the oversized hairband, lovely and soft, but you've also got the 1920s tassels coming at the end of it. Hopefully I'm describing it right there, Mary.
I think you're doing a very good job there.
Big stones. It's almost, dare I say, like the sparkle that would come off the sea, the way the light is playing, giving us a bit of a dazzle off it. But again, this can be worn different ways. Even going to a ball, this would be, you could turn it into a mother the bride piece just as easy, or a bridal piece. Her stuff is made with passion, and when she stitches every bead on, you know she's thinking of the person. It's just one of, and do you know what's lovely about these? They come an heirloom piece as well, could be handed down, the quality. And with all Rebecca's work as well, she gives a lifetime guarantee. So if one of these come off, she will, even if it's a couple of years later, she has backup stuff where it can be sewn back on, which is amazing.
That's amazing.
Do you know?
Yeah,
that
is such a statement piece, really, isn't it?
It is. All of her pieces are, but I think particularly this one where it has that lovely bridal piece to it. And again, it is something that can be passed down. Now, this is one of her more elaborate pieces, but she does other ones that aren't just as elaborate. She does lovely collars that you would just take a black dress or a navy dress, and it would just give it that statement bling piece as well. But again, these are made in Kerry. They're made by her own hand. No one in China is putting in the pearls, sewing them in. It's just a talent. She's an artist and you can see it, but she's also a designer, but you can see it coming out in her pieces. Like that, I suppose because of being in lockdown and not seeing the wonderful fashions, you really get to see it up close. And like we did on Sunday, which was the other part of the day, was to see them up live and personal, and the way that things are styled. Carol Kennelly was there. There was such an array of, and even people that were attending, what they were wearing was brilliant as well. And a lot of Kerry pieces as well, which is lovely to see. I think it's
I was going to say, if people were I suppose, locked up for the last couple of years, so this was probably one of the the first or the first, you know, big fashion event that was back after COVID. So I'm sure people were bursting to get out to wear, you know, like to get all dolled up and to wear, as you say, Kerry designers, or, you know, something special they have in the wardrobe, or perhaps something special that they bought or had made for this. And so I suppose that you said the atmosphere was really electric. I suppose people were so excited to get back out and about and to get dressed up and to see the new creations from these Kerry designers.
Oh, definitely. And to see the talent that we have as well. But again, when you see something in a picture is one thing, or online, but when you actually have it in your hand, or when you can see it in the distance, you can really get to admire, I suppose, the work and the design and the hard work that goes in into a piece that they would design. Maybe they have to think of the materials they're using, the basic design. Sometimes the designers have a person in mind. If they're not getting a commission to do a piece, they think of that person. They'll see what their style is. But it's lovely when we had a showcase like we did, seeing Collins and even seeing Don O'Neill's past work. They're still as good today as when they first came out, and it was amazing to say that. And I didn't have any of her stuff with me here, but Cathy Thrott, the headpieces for Don's gowns were done by Cathy Thrott, who is local here in Friaries, and another amazing designer. To see the stuff up close was just mind-blowing. I suppose I love fashion, and it was the right place at the right time. I was so excited I couldn't sleep that night, you know, from the buzz. And meeting even Colin and Don and everyone else, and Rebecca was there in the audience. People went up, congratulated. It was just a lovely mixture of people. So, you know, we have to say congratulations to Claire Murphy as well, and her team that organised it. Because Claire would be a bit like myself, she'd be into her fashion, and again, it was for a good cause. But I suppose taking away the styles and stuff that are there. Again, I'm wearing a bit of a suit that I wore myself on Sunday. It is Kerry Woolen Mills, just outside of Killorglin, between Killorglin and Kinmare. This is from Kerry Sheep. You can't get any more Kerry than that. But they have a fantastic mill out there, and even shop where you can buy the fabric, and there are pieces made by the fabric. And I suppose I was locally, Rebecca Wall made my suit for the day, but it was for another occasion that got cancelled. But like that, when you save up to get something special, it's worth it in the end, you know. And it is something that I know I get loads of wear out of, mixing and matching. And it's something that is being brought back into our community as well by buying local. You can't get any more local than the material. There were very few air miles in it. It was a case going out to Kerry Mill, picking my fabric, then bringing it to Rebecca Wall to make up. And I told her this is what I wanted, only if it suited my body. And she said, yeah, you know what you're talking about. And it does make a bit of a difference, you know. But it's just one of those things. And again, the other maker now, he wasn't showing at the event, but Holden Leather, look at that for a bag.
And they're based back in Dingle.
Yeah, based back in Dingle. And even where he is, it's idyllic because it's on the shores of Dingle Bay at the other side of. But like that, it's a beautiful Holden leather goods. Even when I visited the shop to get that smell of leather, my grandfather was a harness maker in Killarney long time ago, John O'Grady, and stepping back, it brought me back to being a 9-year-old inside in the workshop. And unfortunately, he passed away after that. But it was just the smell of it. But like that, the craft that goes in, the design that goes in, the time, the care, the love, they are an investment piece. But like that, price per wear is what it comes down to. And these will last for a lifetime. And again, it's something that can be passed down to the next generation.
Yeah, and I think we might talk more about that in a few minutes as well. That investment and I suppose the sustainability that comes with that too. Danny, we're going to take a quick break. More with you coming up after this break. And you're very welcome back to Fashion Fix with myself, Mary Gallagher, and Danny Leane. And Danny, we were talking before the break. You mentioned some of the fabulous Kerry talent that was at the Love Kerry lunch and fashion show, which took place at the weekend. And just before we finished there, the last part, you were showing us one of the Holden leather goods bags, and Holden leather goods are based back in Dingle. And you mentioned the likes of Rebecca Wall, designer. You showed us a fantastic crown from her and a beautiful leather look jacket from Colin Horgan as well of Ard Furt. And I suppose with all of these pieces, you mentioned Carl Kennelly, Kathy Troth, of course, Don O'Neill was showing at the weekend. And I know you were going to mention as well Brian de Stack as well, a wonderful jeweler back in Dingle and Killarney. We have a wealth of such creative talent here in Kerry, whether it is jewelry or clothes or headpieces or bags or whatever it is. But you mentioned that about the Holden leather goods bag. It's a big investment, but you mentioned like Rebecca's crown, it could be an heirloom you could hand down. But I mean, I know people are steering away maybe from that fast fashion, where you're buying something, you're wearing it once or twice, and then you're throwing it away. For many reasons, I suppose people are thinking more about sustainability. They want to try and play their part and not be, I suppose, so wasteful. And to think too, I think people are thinking about what they're buying and what it means to them themselves. And buying something like, I mean, you got your beautiful suit made there from Kerry wool, from Kerry sheep, and made by a local Kerry designer. And I suppose wearing that, I mean, there's a certain feeling that comes with wearing an item like that. And I think people are kind of going that way too. They, maybe not everything in their wardrobe will be like that, but maybe certain pieces.
Yes, Mary, I'm not saying for everyone to go designer, but even one or two pieces. And I think you love them and you cherish them a bit more, because again, if we've too much of something, I think we don't appreciate it. And I think, with lockdown, now it is gone and we're re-emerging, I think we're beginning to appreciate some of the smaller things in life rather than the bigger picture. And I think people are back to local and staying local. And again, it's down to quality people want as well. There's something for everyone, even different budgets. But I know not everyone can afford it, or, even to put away a couple of quid to treat themselves. But again, it just makes a big difference to the world at the end of the day, because there is no air miles, there is no ship miles. And I suppose as product is getting harder to source from abroad, and even though we're coming out of a lockdown here, in other parts of the world, they're still in a bit of lockdown. So trying to get materials is hard. It's like growing our own vegetables, I suppose. That would be another facet of it. And that we use what we have. And there are brilliant, as we have said already, designers and manufacturers of all different goods that sometimes we can ignore or forget about.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose too, it's about supporting that talent and that skill so that is retained. I know you were talking about your grandfather there, and when you went to Holden leather goods, you got that smell of the leather and it brought you right back. But I suppose we have lost a lot of the skills. Yes, things maybe moved more to machinery and being mass produced and in foreign countries often and brought into the country. So it's nice to be able to support what is being made locally, handmade. You mentioned the likes of Rebecca hand stitching all of those stones into her beautiful crowns and headpieces.
Yes, it's just a different way to see pieces or whatever. And I suppose it's the world sometimes is overproducing stuff that we might need just for short term, but thinking of the longer term is another way of looking at it. I know fashion is supposed to make us look good and fabulous and stuff like that, and it's a want, but I think sometimes we just have to stop and think and maybe go slightly better with the quality so the clothes last longer as well, when we decide what we're buying and for what occasion. And I suppose it gets on, what other way can we wear it? What else have I in my wardrobe that'll match up with it? You know, no matter what you're buying, just think a small bit more. But like that, fashion is to go around, and it changes all the time, and it's something fresh as well.
And on that, you're going to talk retro prints and Art Deco, and you're going to tell me what the difference is because I don't know.
It's very, very slight, but like the retro can be like a vintage feel from the 1950s and 60s mostly. Even here in Ireland, we were a small bit behind when it came to it, but by God, have we caught up. This is one of them here that I'd call a retro print too. You have actually strange kind of colors that would have been at the time as well. You have the ilex, you have that lovely green, you have the lighter green, the bit of yellow, and it's like squares. Everything was either squares or squiggles back then. Even the collars, some of the collars now for the way we're living today, instead of being oversized, they've cut back on them a wee bit. But that would be a typical print, square, sometimes squiggles, but there would be like color kind of clashing going on as well. That's what I would call a retro to, where I would be going more, when it's Art Deco, it would be more like this kind of a print, that it's all the same, but there'd be ovals on it and stuff like that. And again, they're basically maybe two colors, but there's nothing shouting at each other like what there would be with the retro. And I suppose when I mean shouting, I'm going to show you something here. The dress I just showed you from there in the retro is from Pamela Scott. Yeah. And this is when I mean color clashing at its best. You have the trousers maybe in the lime green, and then you have a lovely fuchsia pink top, where they're really clashing with each other, but it'd be like something that you would have seen maybe in the 1960s in London. And it came a bit later here in Ireland when we were a bit braver to wear the brighter colours. But basically, the 1920s would be a bit more pared back, and there'd be more tassels and stuff going on with it, but it's the print would be more uniformed, where the 90 or the retro, it's down to the colors and down to more squares and squiggles and more shocking colors really going through it, where the other one would be a bit calmer, a bit more classier as well, when it comes down to a bit more of a classic.
And those clashing colours, you're saying this is a good time for them now when the sun is out. Maybe we shouldn't say things like that. The sun could disappear again.
Definitely. It is like, and it's bright to be seen. And like I have said all along, once you're wearing bright colours, it lifts you yourself. And there's nothing better than seeing the sun to give it that extra bit of a lift as well. And don't be afraid of colour. Again, sometimes we think because something is black or navy, it's going to make us look skinnier or thing. But sometimes it doesn't if the cut isn't right. Don't be afraid of adding in a bit of colour. Even to start off with, maybe a yellow bag or a pink bag with navy, it introduces it nicely. But like that, not everyone is into the bright colours either, you know, and we all have our own style. It's just finding something we're comfortable with, and if we want something a bit special, to come out of our comfort zones. And fashion is fun too.
Absolutely. And jumpsuits, I mean, they're not for everybody, but you're going to talk to us a bit about some jumpsuits, and there are lots out at the moment now that don't even have zips, so they're making it easier for us ladies to wear.
your typical one would be like this one here from Pamela Scott's, and it would be a zip that would be used. And sometimes if you girls go to the toilet, you go and pack. So it is Mary or someone else, give me a hand at taking it down. But now what they're doing is they're having either ones that you step into and pull up. So you don't need anyone's help. You can go to the toilet by yourself. Or what they're doing as well with the jumpsuit, they're adding in just 2 buttons at the back where you can reach yourself or just rip one button, step into it again. Sometimes if there's a third button, like there normally isn't, it'll be kind of 2 buttons, where if you were tying your bra strap, that'll be as far as it goes, and you just step into it, so you don't, and step out of it, so you don't need any extra help when you're dressing yourself, or again those crucial going to the toilet points in the night or the day.
The jumpsuits are still out in force in fashion at the moment.
They're different ones where we have ones there that we featured on TV yesterday, and they're like the cape type ones. They'll cover the danger area, but also you have the comfort of a trousers, but they're made of softer material now as well. So you have that comfort, and like a jumpsuit would take you to communion, even depending on the accessories, you could go as a mother of a bride in it. It's just as versatile as a suit would be, but you have the comfort as well. And I think we've gotten all used to our bit of comfort as well, Mary. You know,
we have after COVID, definitely. And I suppose the thing with the jumpsuit, and I know we were talking about it the last day as well about the suits, is you need to find the one, I suppose, that suits you.
Yes, definitely. Like we have ones here that are long-legged and you need to be very tall for them, but you can cut up the legs if you like. But then we have other ones that have coming in again, where they're like 3/4 and there's a bit more wideness to them as well. And like this one here from Pamela Scott has almost like that lovely halter neck. I'd nearly go say you could nearly get married in this as an alternative bride by putting one of Rebecca Wall's pieces with it.
There we go.
You would stand out. But like that, it's such a versatile product to have. And again, it is something that is something different. I had actually a wedding party in, they didn't want bridesmaid dresses. They all decided they wanted jumpsuits because they wanted to wear them again. And as it worked out, it was brilliant. And they felt so comfortable. The bride was so happy. She had something slightly quirky because brides now, they want something different. They don't want something the same. They want to put their own personality into an event like a wedding, and something that the wardrobe isn't wearing as well, which is very important, I think.
Absolutely, you know? Yeah. Back to that key piece about sustainability and getting value for your money.
And more value for the money now. We have to be watching, as they say, the pennies and stuff. But like that, if you fall in love with something, go and get it. Because again, there's nothing like feeling good in a garment if it suits you. It just gives you that extra bit of a buzz. And by God, we could do with it from time to time.
Well, look, Jenny, on that note, we are going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you very much. A pleasure as always, Mary. Thank you.